Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Monday night, so it will be your show taking your Skype calls. But first of all, Manchester United great has come out and slammed Jose Mourinho and Manchester United, describing them as painful to watch. Who is it? Do you know who it is? Have you figured it out yet? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna keep you on tenterhooks for a little bit longer and just read some of these quotes for you. The fans were not happy. The stadium was starting to empty, and then they think, well, we've got to win games, and they bring in Jose Mourinho, who loves powerful, strong, and tough players like Lukaku, Matic, and Bailly, who are suitable for his style. Ajax, United, Barcelona are the three bastions of European football in terms of game style. United has always played 4-1-1 or 4-4-2 with two players either side. It's rooted in the club. Don't change it. Don't take short-term decisions. And also, this one's the one. This is the one. How many Manchester United players do you see running around like Tottenham? Mourinho is happy with a very low base on the ground and to have a physical and sturdy player. As a Manchester United fan, it's painful to watch. That is from, not Paul Scholes, it's from Gary Neville, who was doing the Second Captain's podcast. Painful to watch, Manchester United. And to be honest with you, I don't think he's having a massive pop at Mourinho in some ways. I mean, it is quite derogatory, and I suppose Mourinho would take it that way. But I think what he's saying is absolutely spot on, and I don't think many people would disagree with it. I mean, I don't want negativity around the club, but it has been said. But I don't necessarily take it as negative, because I think Mourinho has said on Friday night that he is trying to change the style of play. But the reality is, I think Gary's right. I think what he said there is that the club obviously saw under Van Gaal that the fans were turning away and they felt that they needed to win games. So they went and got the best manager out there to win games, who was available at the time, which was Jose Mourinho. Mourinho's then gone and got physical big players who don't run around a lot, which is what he's saying, like Tottenham. And it becomes painful to watch. And we're not playing the 4-4-2 or the 4-4-1-1 that is, you know, written into the club's tapestry, so to speak. And Gary Neville doesn't like that. He doesn't want this short-term win at all costs football. So, you know, Gary Neville's a Manchester United great, but he's also a Manchester United fan. And his opinion is as valid or as invalid as you want to perceive it to be. So, interesting comments there. Mourinho is there to win, not to entertain, says Jack, the skipper. And I would sort of agree with that. I want people to call in and have their say on those comments. Gary Neville and the class of 92 are legends, but this agenda of disrespecting the current club so that one of their own can get the manager's job is tired. Neville was crap as a manager, says J.T. Motley. Different view on that. Can't argue with Gary Neville's comments, says Min Chung Nguyen. And is Gary Neville the new football director, says Bobby Houlihan. Well, maybe you want to talk about the new football director as well. Van der Sar has been mentioned. Juventus and Roma directors of football have also been mentioned as well. Be very difficult to get hold of those. I mentioned Gary Neville before, and a lot of people 50-50 split on that. So maybe you might want to have your thoughts on a class of 92 member as that. It will be Skype Goldbridge. We will be opening that up in a minute. Sir Alex was pragmatic at times. He played the material when needed. Sir Alex was also the greatest motivator of all time, says Anders Lofstrom. And I think if Mourinho goes, the style will change again, as it has to be. I don't think it's an agenda against Mourinho, though. He is negative, says Julian M. And every Man United great are slamming Mourinho because they want his job, says Kurti Vassan. I'll tell you what, I don't know Gary Neville, but I don't think he would want the Manchester United job, and I don't think he'd want the director of football job either. I think Gary Neville is doing his things with Sky Sports, and he's doing his things with Salford City, and I don't think he necessarily wants the job at Manchester United at all. I think it might be difficult for a fan like him to turn down that involvement, but I think at the moment he's just talking like a Manchester United fan, isn't he? And who can blame him? Also want to just mention as well, so, you know, it's going to be your show. Call in and have your say about whatever you want. But interesting rumour coming out of Manchester United that they've basically told Paul Pogba that he's indispensable and absolutely invaluable to Manchester United, which is what I was saying yesterday morning. And maybe that's why Pogba has come out with some of these comments, because he feels totally comfortable. Which, to be honest with you, I said yesterday I think United would get rid of Mourinho before they got rid of Pogba. But is that dangerous? Whatever whatever you think about Jose Mourinho, would that be a dangerous situation where a player basically knows that they're indispensable to the club, effectively begging him and saying, you're the number one, when you've got a manager who then is facing a very difficult situation, not backed in the transfer market, and then the biggest player, probably more powerful than you? Is it Man United? Is it Pogba United? So give us your thoughts on that. And also, just touching on the transfer window, I wanted to get some of your comments on this as well. There is a feeling that Manchester United are unwilling to back Jose Mourinho's type of player signing anymore, i.e. short-term, 30-year-olds who have got very good pedigree but are short-term, expensive and with a little bit of an injury record. And this may be the result of the Alexis Sanchez signing, who I think has been a bit of a disaster in that sense. He's the best paid player in the Premier League, and I think Alexis Sanchez will come good. But will he ever come best player in the league good, which is what we paid for? I think he'll be good, but I'm not so sure he's going to be best player in the league good, which is what Mourinho was effectively buying him for. And let's not forget, I think the club probably look at the Sanchez deal like a lot of United fans are at the moment. We made him the best paid player in the Premier League. He's done nothing for 6 months. It's ruined Pogba. It's ruined Martial. It's caused disruption, and that's all on Jose. And he probably would have gone to Man City if they'd stumped the money up. So, interesting thoughts there. But it's your show. Get your comments in. Pogba is the best. Players before manager, says Wet Lettuce. Ooh, interesting. Players before manager. Do you believe that? I don't know. I think the manager's always got to be in charge. Ben F says bored and Woodward out. Jose bought it on himself, says Phil Foster. Mark, we can't say Mourinho was not backed, spent £300 million plus. I think I read something from Gary Neville as well today. It wasn't on that podcast, where he said that Mourinho is still trying to rectify the mistakes of the Van Gaal era, and they should be chucking money at that problem. So, interesting. Gary Neville is a legend. Sad to see comments calling him a loser, says Glanan. Well, it's all about opinion, isn't it? But, that's the way of the word. That's the way of the world at the moment. And Smooth Gaming says, rip up the Sanchez contract. Is it that big? Anyway, first caller. Hello, how you doing?
Hey Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. You?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. Right, I'm going to blast through loads of calls like we did the other night tonight. So everyone's going to get about 2-3 minutes. So go for it. What do you want to talk about?
I basically wanted to talk about the squad that we have now. I know you've been talking for the past couple of weeks that with the new developments that have occurred that they do feel like new chances. I think the squad that we have right now is capable of winning the league. If you have De Gea in goal, and if you go for the 3-5-2 as us fans want, if you have Bailly, Lindelof, and maybe Smalling in there, and in the midfield you have Pogba, Pereira, and Fred. On the wing you could have Shaw and Valencia, and up top you have Sanchez and Lukaku. I personally think that's a perfectly good enough squad to win the title this year.
I don't disagree. I think a lot of United fans are just concerned, and I don't know what you think about, I think we've certainly got the players. I think we certainly had the players last year, but it's whether they're allowed to play to the potential, because if they do, I can't disagree with that. I know there'll be people in the live comments saying, we're never going to win the league, but we do have a very good squad. Do you think Jose will play the way to get the best out of them, though, or do you think he's going to still play this defensive, pragmatic football?
Personally, I think if we get a 1-0 result against Liverpool, playing trash football, but we get the 1-0 result, we're not going to care about how we play. If Jose plays defensive like he's done and doesn't win the league, or at least doesn't get a great start to the season like we all hope he does, he's going to be sacked come December. But if he starts to implement a more of attacking style, and even if he doesn't finish where we want him to be, if he starts to attack more, I think that's what we want as fans, really. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, just very quickly on that. I mean, where do you stand on that? I mean, does it? I mean, if we win all our other games against the teams below the bottom six, and then we go away to Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea and play for draws and then beat them at home, that's probably going to be enough to win a title anyway. I think we get a little bit hung up on this park the bus football away from home, because Sir Alex Ferguson used to go to Anfield and keep it tight. I mean, sometimes when you're against your big rivals, it's about maybe nicking a win or picking up a point at their place, beat them at our place. But our problem last year is we lost to teams like Huddersfield and Newcastle and West Brom.
Yeah, and I think with Jose is he has to, like you always say all the time that Jose knows how to deal with Klopp. He has to understand how to deal with the lower teams, because he can park the bus at Liverpool, then beat him at Old Trafford. But no matter where we are, if we're playing against the Huddersfield, home or away, he has to go for attacking football because we have better players and we have a bigger philosophy than they do.
Definitely. Well, thanks for calling in, pal. We're going to whiz through some calls tonight, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark.
Cheers, pal. I'm just going to grab him while he's there because he's one of the firm favourites when he comes on. Paul, it is Paul. I hope. Can you hear me, Paul?
No, mate. Yeah, sorry. I'm eating a sandwich.
It's all right. I can only give you 2 minutes instead of 20 tonight, but I'm eager to grab you because I know. You're definitely not happy about Mourinho in the past. How are you feeling at the moment, and what do you think about Gary Neville's comments?
Yeah, he's bang on. You can't really argue with it, can you? I mean, it's difficult to.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I don't really see them as negative anyway. I see them as it isn't really it's not the United way, is it? And it is painful to watch at times. But what did you think about Friday? And has it changed your stance on the season at all? You got any concerns about this Pogba thing?
This is the thing. The first 10 minutes changed my opinion because we were at him, we were quick, and we were tenacious, and we seemed like we were going to run all day. And then we slipped straight back into what we did last season, which was the remit for last season. The first 10 minutes, we'd be on top, and then slowly but surely we'd start letting the other teams play the way they want to play, and then they build confidence because we let them do that, and they push us back. All this parking the bus stuff, we don't park the bus as such. What happens is what I've just said. We try and get on top of them. We sit too deep with our defence. The defence and midfield and attack are too far apart. It gives them time to sit back and reorganise and start passing the ball. They gain confidence. We get pushed back, and then it looks like we're parking the bus. But what it is we're just sitting back further and further, and naturally we just end up sitting right in front of our 18-yard box and defending. So we're not parking the bus as such. It's just that teams push us back, and we let them.
We give up possession, don't we? And we don't press.
Yeah, we just give it, and then we do. We press with 3 players, and 3 passes gets it past those 3 players. And then 1 player runs all the way up to the 18-yard box and isn't challenged. What the positives I took out of Friday were the players. Pereira, excellent. Sanchez must do much better. But our midfield, Fred, he looks like a baller, but he was a little bit off the pace. But I see that as a switch up from one league to another because Premiership's a lot quicker. I liked our defence. Luke Shaw was good. Lindelof and Bay. 38 games last season, they didn't play together. Don't understand it. All the players we had, I think, did really well, apart from Sanchez, but he can turn it on. It's just the way they're deployed, and that's Jose. All the players that we got are showing excellent signs, but Fred gets his head up. He's got no one to pass to. Pereira gets his head up. He has to spray a 40-yard ball to get it to anybody. We do that along the back line, get it to the fullback. Fullback gets closed down because everybody knows what we're going to do. And it goes back to De Gea. He boots it up. We've got Matter up there to try and get on the end of it. He can't, and then it resets, and we've lost the ball by the time a replay starts. So I was positive with the players. I'm negative with the tactics. Again, it's just everything that I seem to think of bottlenecks down to Jose Mourinho. Parking the bus is a bit of a myth because I just think eventually after 20 minutes, like clockwork, we get pushed back and back and back. Our back line's so far away from our midfield, we don't seem to connect, and we end up just defending. So that was my take on it. That was what I wanted to say, basically.
No worries at all. And I would have asked you another question, but I want to whiz through some. So thanks for calling in, Paul, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Yeah, cool. Cheers, bye.
Cheers, pal. Okay, let's have a quick look at the live comments, then we'll take another call. Let's see what people are saying. Remember to drop a like on the video. It's your show tonight. It's the Skype show, isn't it? So what do you think will happen with Martial Mark, says Sean McManus? Oh, a question for me. How nice of you. I think that Martial will end up staying because if we let him go, we're going to leave ourselves ridiculously weak. We don't have many options, do we? Internet Traffic Cop says, so much belly aching. We've had one match that we won. But, I'd flip that the other way and say, what do you want people to flip-flop and be all positive? A lot of people came into the season negative because of the transfer window and because of the way Mourinho was speaking. I think it's quite right that we've got differing views. I think that's quite normal. My main concern is do people think that there's a lot of positivity around the team, like Paul said. You've got Lindelof and Bay, Luke Shaw, Pereira, Fred. We still played a bit negative when we went 1-0 ahead, but imagine how negative we're going to feel if he takes Pereira out for Matic. He puts Fellaini in for Fred. He puts Jones in for Lindelof. Will he do that? youngin for sure. I mean, that's going to be the interesting thing for me. Martial will stay, says Stern Kide, and Sanchez is a poor man's Richarlison, says Roy Keane simply. The best. I actually do think that he will come good. I do think that he will come good, Sanchez. I just don't think he will come good enough to justify what we're paying him. I don't think he's going to be a flop. I just don't think it's going to be the signing that Jose thought he would be, because I think if he was going to be that signing, he would already be hitting those heights. He's 6 months in at the moment. Fabrizio, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mark, I hear you.
How you doing? All right?
Can you hear me, boss?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. Let's talk about ruthless. I want to talk about being ruthless. So I think it's imperative this season, that Mourinho has to be ruthless. And you speak about this a lot. So, for instance, Alexis Sanchez did terrible last game. Time to put in Martial. We need to take the approach that Pep Guardiola is taking with Manchester City, meaning if one player isn't doing well one game and not giving his efforts and showing a lot of inconsistency, we have to try out another player. And this is why Man City's having success. Yeah, they have a little bit more squad depth than us, but the difference between Pep and Mourinho is Pep makes the changes that need to be changed right then and there. And if not in that game, in the next game. And like I said, I know you, like you said, you brought up a lot of times that, if Lukaku's doing bad, why are you still keeping him in? Won't you put someone else in? And we're not doing enough of that. Like I said, we should give Martial a chance next game, sit out Alexis Sanchez. And as far as Juan Mata goes on the right, I think he just doesn't have enough pace. I personally think he doesn't have enough pace. He's a great player. He does show a lot of consistency, but at times he does show a lot of inconsistencies, and he's not even a factor in the game. So I would rather have Rashford on the right side, Martial on the left, keep Lukaku as a center forward. And I know I'm going to contradict myself right now as far as Lukaku goes, and I think the reason he doesn't replace Lukaku is because he's such a dominant presence that if we do sub him out, we really have no one with that kind of dominant presence to play in that position that could hold up.
We certainly missed him against Leicester, didn't we? We missed that physicality against Leicester big time.
Yeah, we did. And I mean, what do you think? Like, I know a lot of people say, well, why should we go for Perisic, or why should we go for another winger when we have Martial, Rashford? Well, I think we should always go for another winger just for the fact that we need squad depth. We need to be ruthless. We need to capitalize on the fact that if one player isn't doing well, he comes out and the other player gets his chance. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about the 3-5-2, but Mark, what do you think about the 3-4-3? As far as 3 defenders in the back, 4 midfielders, with the 3 that we have so far, Fred, Pereira, Pogba, and Matic, and then 3 in the front, and that'll be Martial, Lukaku, and Rashford. And if, one of the 3 mess up, put in Alexis Sanchez. What do you think on that?
I'll come back to it, Fabrizio, because you've had your 3 minutes, but they're all really good points. So I'm going to interact with the comments on that. But brilliant. Didn't come up for air. Really spoke about a lot of things there. Can't fault it. Thanks for calling in, and please do call in again.
Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
You too, pal. I think that I think Fabrizio's spot on. I think when you look at the way Jose Mourinho treated players last season, the performance that Alexis Sanchez and Juan Mata put in against Leicester, both would have been, if that was Martial and Mata last season, they'd both be dropped. The thing we saw last season is a real reluctance to drop Alexis Sanchez because Jose Mourinho has his favourites. I personally do agree with Fabrizio. I think that Martial should start against Brighton because Alexis Sanchez was dreadful. And I think Sanchez will come good, but I think if that was Martial or Rashford putting in that performance, they would be dropped. It's going to be quite interesting to see whether, maybe it's in his contract, I don't know. But I don't expect Sanchez to be dropped against Brighton, but I think he should be. I think Martial should start. And I think Mata's got to be dropped. If you look at the average positions, the heat maps, the stats, whatever you want to look at, our right-hand side against Leicester was non-existent. Darmian and Mata just struggled all game, and you've got to put Rashford there or you've got to put Lingard in there because they'll work hard. And, you know, you've got to work hard in that position when you're playing with Darmian. And I don't think Dalot or Valencia are going to be fit for that game. So I would agree with that. I mean, 3-4-3, just to answer that question very quickly, I don't know what you lot are saying in the live comments. What I'd say about the 3-4-3 is quite simply this, that it's very much, you know, 3-4-3 can be 3-5-2. As long as the width is coming from the fullbacks who can help the three centre-backs, that's fine. I thought 4-3-3 worked quite well on Friday. I'm a bigger fan of the 3-5-2, but have we got the three centre-backs to play it? That would be my question. With the injury records we've definitely got the three. You can play Lindelof, Bailly and Smalling. You can play Lindelof, Bailly and Jones, whatever. But I'm more concerned that we normally get a lot of injuries there, which actually 2 injuries prevents you playing 3-4-3 because you haven't got enough centre-backs to play there. Right, so let's take another call anyway. Let's try... Darren, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Mark.
How you doing? All right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good, good. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'd just like to go back on when you were speaking about Alex Ferguson.
Oh, yeah.
And I totally agree. Well, that's what I was going to say before you actually said it. Fergie never used to go out guns blazing against Liverpool or Arsenal or Chelsea for that matter. But what he had at that time was players that when they do actually get the ball, they can counter-attack devastatingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
No, I was going to say you're spot on. I mean, I think we're living in a mythical time really where not only do we want to rewrite how we used to play against the big teams away from home, especially in the old, you know, in the Sir Alex era, because we didn't go and smash. I can't remember many times as going to Anfield and playing them off the park. I really can't. And also, what I would say as well is I tweeted this afternoon. I think everyone's just obsessed with great football and they think great football wins you titles. Well, it did with Man City last year, but you can grind your way to a title. I think Sir Alex Ferguson's last title with Van Persie, it wasn't great. We pretty much ground our way to that title. Jose did it 3 years ago with Chelsea. So, you know, you don't have to play the great football. Of course, we should play the great football, but we shouldn't be obsessed with what we're going to do at Anfield. That's never been really the way that we've gone and done it.
No, I totally agree, Mark. I totally agree.
What do you think about the situation with the board not backing Jose? Obviously, Pogba's been quite vocal. It's clear that the club backed Pogba. Do you think Mourinho is basically... how long do you think Mourinho's going to last at Manchester United is what I was going to say?
Possibly to the end of the season. I'm not overly happy with what he's doing right now, but Fred looks like a good signing. Fred looks really good, and if he leaves Pereira at the back, I think the reason why he's got Pereira there and he hasn't got any of the other two, like who could I say?
McTominay, Fellaini, I suppose.
Yeah, he's not going to have them there because they can't receive the ball after the defence and get rid of it quickly.
No, I agree. I mean, you know, it's going to be very interesting to season to see how we go. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that the fact that the board didn't back him, I don't think that looks good for Mourinho beyond this season. But I do want us to do well this year because, you know, at the end of the day, we're all United fans, aren't we?
Yeah, I agree. But I kind of agree. He needs to get more out of the players that he's got. He needs to get more out of the players.
Definitely. Well, thanks for calling in, Darren. I'm going to get another call on, but good points, pal. And I totally agree with you about the Liverpool thing, by the way. And please do call in again.
All right then, Mark.
Cheers, pal.
You take care.
You too, mate. Ta-da. And it's right. It is right. You know, look, I totally agree with what Gary Neville said. We have been painful to watch, and there probably will be times where we were painful on Friday night. Let's be honest. We were painful for most of that game on Friday night. So I do agree with that. But I do think that we also need to be very careful of falling into this City and Liverpool bubble. They play very good football. I'm not going to deny it. And I think if Pep existed at the time Sir Alex Ferguson was successful, we'd still be saying, oh, they play really good football. But I just think that at the end of the day, we are, you know, we're going to have to get by with what we've got this season. There is definitely an element of that. Dazza, can you hear me? Don't know whether he can. Oh, no, he's hung up. We'll get another one on. Let's have a quick look at the live comments. Remember to drop a like on the video for everyone who's calling in tonight. Really good calls coming in. I agree with Neville, says Ila Sabajan. Poor start despite the win. They are not encouraging to watch. It was clear there isn't proper chemistry between the players and it's pathetic, says Clementia. Alexi should play on the right and Martial on the left, says Fides. Yep, I'd agree with that. I don't think many people would disagree with that. Oh, God, I've lost my stream. No, I haven't. I'm still live. Please. Oh, come on. It's not about what we do. Oh, no. Where's that gone? It's not about what we do, says Namayali. Against the top six, but against the lower teams, we should always try to dominate. Problem is for Jose, it's more important to be controlled than to dominate. You know, that's a bloody brilliant comment. That is a brilliant comment because if it's absolutely spot on. If we were annihilating the teams in the bottom half and the mid-table, you know, we were absolutely playing really good football, home and away against the lower teams. We wouldn't mind going to Anfield and grinding a 1-0 out or grinding a draw out because it would be, you know, we play good football, we're entertained. I think the problem is when you're grinding it out against the lower teams as well as the top teams and there is no identity. Billage 1 says, I have a season ticket. It's becoming difficult to convince my 8-year-old son to use his as he's bored to death by half time. Zero entertainment or value. Well, that's something the club need to be aware of because there's a few people who I think do feel a little bit like that. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a shout out actually as well because I have started doing regular videos on my channel which is called the Goldbridge Live and Uncut channel. So I've just been going live off my phone for 10 minutes. I was talking about Logan Paul versus KSI tonight and lots of football stuff on there. The link is in the video description for it though. I'm trying to get up to 15,000 subscribers. So if you like my content and you like it a little bit raw and edgy, the link is in the video description and there's a lot of videos. I've done about 4 in the last 4 days. I'm trying to do a daily one at the moment just to get the channel up and running. So get involved with it. It's not all about football, but it's all about topical stuff. And, you know, I really let loose on that. So I think I've got Dazza again now. I'm just going to try and get him because I always try and get people when I've hit them. Dazza, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right, mate. What do you want to talk about?
I think going on with the board, you know, turning it back on stuff, it's stupid. It really is stupid. And you know, I feel rather sorry and a bit frustrated by what's been going on recently. It's not right, is it?
Is this about the board not spending the money for Jose?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So why do you think that is, and how do you think it's going to resolve itself in the coming months? Because effectively the board haven't backed him.
Like you said, it's going to be difficult because, you know, we didn't sign any players, well, any Premier League players that are any good, as you say, in the transfer window. The transfer window was pretty shocking. And, you know, people have blamed Jose Mourinho for it. Now, not necessarily Jose Mourinho's fault. It's mainly the board not wanting to sell, you know, not wanting to use any money. It's stupid. But it's an interesting topic to talk about. It's pretty difficult to cope with.
I suppose it's not all doom and gloom, though, is it? Because look at Spurs; they didn't spend anything either. So, you know, do you think Spurs are in the same boat as us, or do you think Spurs and United can't win the league because they didn't spend, or is it just more of a problem because it shows they don't trust the manager?
Well, you know, I wouldn't say that United have no chance of winning the league just because we didn't sign anyone. You know, Spurs have as much chance as any other team in the Premier League. It's an unpredictable league, as everyone knows. Obviously, Man City won it last season because they made quite a good amount of signings and stuff. But, you know, we've got Fred, we've got Dalot, and as you said a bit earlier on, Jose Mourinho and the board are just going to have to make do with what they've got.
Definitely. I mean, what about the situation about... I mean, are you one of those fans who's bothered about the way we play football, or have you just accepted, look, at the end of the day, if we're winning games, that's all that matters?
Yeah, I'm one of them ones who just accepts to win. If we get a win, good. I'm not that bothered on how we play. If we play poor, then that's just us. It just means that we need to improve in the next couple of games. But, you know, at the end of the day, a win is a win. A win against Leicester City might not be the most comprehensive victory that we wanted to see, 2-1, but at the end of the day, 3 points is 3 points, and it's, you know, the perfect start of the season for us. I'm happy with 3 points. Any 3 points in any game is good in the Premier League, because the Premier League's tough, and you'll be up against a lot of tough teams. I hate to say this on the United channel, but I think for us, I would be happy with us to just get top 4.
Well, you know, there's no problem with that. It's all about opinion, and you know, there are fans who think we won't get top 4. You know, they think we'll be out of it, which I can't believe. I think we'll get top 4 no matter how bad it goes. To be honest, I think we've got more than enough.
Oh. Well, yeah, you look at our squad, and I mean, we've got pretty much this exact same squad that we had last season, and we finished second with that squad. The only difference is that we brought in Fred and Dalot, and you know, Fred's debut was all right, wasn't the best, but you know, the new signings have time to improve. Everyone's got time to improve in this league. You know, we've got another 37 games left of the season, so there's a lot of time to improve. I think, you know, if we look at January transfer window wise, I think, you know, there was a couple of signings that we could have made in this transfer window that we didn't because the board were too slow to, you know, to agree the deal and stuff. You know, we could sign those players in January. Let's not just, you know, let's just not like get absolutely frustrated and angry with the fact that we didn't sign many players in this transfer window. We've always got January to sign them, and you know, always keep your faith in Jose Mourinho.
Definitely.
And the board.
Thanks for calling, Dazza. Nice to get you back on. Second time asking, but good call, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Sorry about the first time.
No worries, mate. Speak to you soon.
Yes.
What was I going to say? Yeah, you know what? I was thinking this today. The reality is, look, we can all be very negative, but the point is, Manchester United finished second last season, and nobody else has got any excuse for that. You know, where were Spurs? Where were Liverpool? Where were Chelsea? We finished second last season. We didn't play particularly well. We played poor football, but we finished second. If we improve, which I think we have, I think Fred and Pereira make our midfield better, which was the biggest area of concern for me, other than left back, and we start playing better football, then, you know, we should have our expectations, our minimum expectations this season should be second place. I thought Dazza was going to say there, I don't want to say this, but he was going to start talking Liverpool up, which would have meant an instant ending of the call. But no, that's fine. Also, what I wanted to say as well before I take another call is, if you look at Manchester City's next 6 fixtures, I'll be stunned if they don't win all 6. They've got Huddersfield, you know, they've got really winnable fixtures. So on top of the 3 points that they've got against Arsenal, you'd expect they're going to win their first 7 games, City. So they're going to go off like a train, like they did last season, and it's whether anybody can go with them. And I look at our fixtures, Brighton away, you know, it's not a definite. Spurs at home, not a definite. Burnley away, not a definite. Watford away, not a definite. And then Wolves at home, you know, let's see what Wolves are all about. So we've got a challenging start, but we need to embrace that start. We need to go for it, see what we can do, and embrace the start to this season, because I think it's there at the moment, and we need to remain positive at the moment and see what happens with it. Okay, I'm going to take another caller. Let's grab. Let's try this caller because they've been trying to call in for a while. Danny, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Good. What do you want to talk about?
I'm not really feeling too great about Mourinho. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, explain why.
I think his football's too negative. I think he's boring. And I think he's a bit cheeky in his press conferences sometimes. He needs to relax it a bit.
He was quite positive after the game on Friday, I felt. I know he's been very negative over the summer, but I thought, you know, some of the things he said about Luke Shaw and Pereira, I think I don't know, what do you think about what Paul Pogba said over the last few days? Do you think that's something to be concerned about, or do you think it's a sign that, you know, he feels confident?
I think Pogba will be staying, but I also heard that Pogba called you a nonce as well.
All right, okay, you're one of them, are you? Okay, all right then. Oh dear. Well, you know, at the end of the day, it takes a real warrior to come on and cut the call before I can come back. So goodbye to the coward. But he's probably already pulling the little clip off to try and get 1,000 retweets off the United stand and off me. But, you know, the line's back on. If you want to come on and let me deliver a bit of a volley to you, let's go for it. But let's take another caller as well. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can, Mark.
How you doing, pal?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mark.
Good.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm not too bad. What do you want to talk about?
Today I want to talk about leadership in general.
Okay.
Manchester United, in the history.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to kill the call, but it sounds like you're down a tunnel, and you know, we've got to think about the audio for the callers. So I'm sorry about that. If you try again, we'll try you again. But let's grab another call. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, is that Ian?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hello?
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 Hello? You're live on the United Stand, Ian. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the game on Friday night now. Mourinho's very positive.
Okay, so you're feeling positive this season about Manchester United and Mourinho?
Yeah, I believe he's going to change.
Change his style of play?
No, just change his attitude.
Is that enough? Just changing his attitude, or do we have to play good football? Are you happy with United? Gary Neville described it as painful. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, over the last few years, we've been lucky enough to have Sir Alex Ferguson and a great football, but you're not going to get that all the time. And once we're winning trophies under Mourinho. He's doing his best. Board and backing him. So,
what do you think about that? What do you think about the board not backing him as a United fan yourself?
I don't think it's right. He wants a centre back. Go out and buy the centre back. Doesn't matter how much it costs them. They have the money.
You see, I was thinking about that today, and I thought, you know what? I don't want us to sign Boateng. I don't want us to sign Willian, but I'm not Manchester United manager. I'm just a fan. If the manager wants those players and the club say no, what's the point in having that manager if he can't have what he wants? It just seems really weird.
Because at the end of the day, there's no better manager than Mourinho, in my opinion.
Do you think? What do you think about this season? Hand on heart, what do you think we can achieve this season?
If he changes his attitude and he rotates the squad, he plays Bay and Lindelof at the back, keeps a consistent back four, I think we can win it.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, isn't it? Let's be honest. It will be tough, and I think we need to be realistic about that. But you know, these people who talk about, oh, you know, we're going to finish outside the top four. What do you think about that?
Nah, I don't think we will. Because people are talking about Liverpool are the only challengers. They have Klopp as a manager. What's he's won?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Liverpool, to be honest. They beat West Ham 4-0 and we beat West Ham 4-0. One question I want to ask, because it's not been asked tonight. Anthony Martial, do you think there's any chance of him leaving this last month of the transfer window in Europe, or do you think he'll stay?
Nah, I think he'll stay. I think the comments Mourinho made on Friday night were good. That he wanted to bring him on, but other players were tired.
Yeah, defo. Okay, Ian. Well, thanks for calling in. Really good points and lots discussed. And please do call in again.
No, but Mark, thanks for having me.
Cheers, pal. Let's have a quick look at the live comments. Okay. United has good players and they're underperforming, says Adari. I agree with that. And City and Liverpool will get top two, says Harper Hull, who's probably a Liverpool fan. Stop buying older players, needs to be a mixed squad, says Michael Jones. He's not leaving, the board are stupid, says Gazel Cesar. Are not stupid, sorry. Isn't it Jose's fault he don't get backed, he goes for players? He knows that don't fit our category of players that we target, yet he still tries, so no wonder he doesn't get anyone, says Callum. Look, you know, I didn't want the players that Jose Mourinho was rumoured to want, Willian and Boateng. They are short term, but if the board agree with that opinion that I have and many of you have, how can you keep a manager in place when you're saying no, we're not buying the players that you want? Because in its most basic sense, you are basically saying, well, we don't trust your judgment, Jose. We don't trust what the players that you want to sign. So I just think it's really weird how they didn't get the players that he wanted. Sabotage, he says, I back Mourinho, not his targets. No 30-year-olds, please. Not had him on for a while. Red Devil Weekly, how you doing?
Hello, Mark. Good evening.
Good evening. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I just really wanted to speak about the fact that a lot of Man United fans obviously aren't happy with Jose Mourinho's style of play, and I get that. But for me, I actually want to talk about the fact that I kind of feel sorry for Jose Mourinho in the fact that we have one of the best managers in world football, and the club's not backing him. Now, to me, that's an absolute huge waste of an opportunity. I could sort of understand not backing David Moyes. Obviously, I think that your board have to back every single manager you have. But the fact that we have Jose Mourinho, one of the best technical managers possibly in football history, and we're not giving him the signings we want. He got a list of signings that he wanted to give Ed Woodward, and he didn't get any of them. Possibly Fred, I'm not sure if that was really one of his signings. So I know a lot of people are very negative about the style of play, but I just wonder whether the style of play would have changed if we'd actually got the options they had on his list. And I'm actually really interested to see who was on that list. But it's just very, very odd and very, very disappointing that, you know, Jose Mourinho is not being backed, one of the best managers in world football, and we're wasting this opportunity not being able to back him because we clearly have the money. If we're signing on all these sponsors, you know, they can't play in midfield, they can't play right wing for us. So why aren't we looking at the options he's given us? So that's just why I feel quite bad for him. And so I just want to stick up for him a bit because I do see some Manchester United fans getting on his back about the style of play, but I actually do feel a bit sorry for him.
I must say, looking at it from a pragmatic point of view, I don't see the point in having a manager that you're not going to buy their players. It's like, you know, yeah, we want you to be the manager, but we're not going to buy you the players. And I find it ridiculous that story came out that we were in for Varane and we were willing to pay £100 million for Varane. I think my mum would know that we're not going to get Varane. You know, it's just a total waste of time. And if that's what we spent the summer trying to do, then look, you know, I don't want Boateng, I don't want Willian, as I've said before. But if that's what our manager wants, if you don't agree with that, get rid of the manager and get a new manager. You know, how's Jose supposed to do the job if he's not being given the players that he wants to have? And I think that is quite a weird scenario at the club. And there is a rumour, I don't know what you think about this, there is the rumour that United have basically not spent much this summer because they're keeping it back for next summer when Jose goes and the new manager gets a massive war chest.
Well, if that is the case, which, I mean, it's interesting you bring that up really, but if that is the case, I think that's shocking. I'm sorry, but Jose Mourinho for me is the right man. Whether you think, you know, he's not the right man or not, I respect your opinion, whatever, but I think he's definitely the right man to take us forward. And the fact that if that is true, that they're holding back funds for another manager, how can you be planning forward that ahead when you've got a manager like Jose Mourinho? Surely you're looking for success now. You want to back the manager now so he can have success. I think that would be absolutely ridiculous to, you know, just completely write off this season and go, you know what, we want out of Jose Mourinho. We're going to bring in, I don't know, Zidane or somebody else next season. But possibly if that rumour is true as well, it could hint towards the poor relationship between the board and Jose Mourinho and the fact that that is the reason why they want him out, not because of, you know, the fact they don't think he's right because of the performances that he's churning out, but actually because they have an agenda against him. The board don't like him. Their relationship seems to be strained. So maybe it might be some inner workings and maybe a bit of dark arts actually want him out. So if that rumour is true, which I would be disgusted if it is really, but if it is true, then I think as fans we would be being cheated quite a bit.
Thanks for calling in, pal. Really good call, and please do call again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it.
Cheers, pal. You know what? It wouldn't be the first time either, because if you think back to what happened with Van Gaal, I don't think it's necessarily that the club are getting rid of Mourinho. I think what happened with Van Gaal is that from that Christmas before Van Gaal was sacked, Mourinho was available, and I think United were sort of like, we want Mourinho. It's on the shoulder of Van Gaal. If you don't get top four, Mourinho's coming in. And I think United, maybe they're looking at Zidane or another coach, and they know that they've, you know, the sad thing for me is that United have got £150 million that they were going to spend this summer that's not been spent. What a waste that money is. It's not a waste for the Glazers because it's earning interest, isn't it? But, you know, that money is burning a hole somewhere and we haven't spent it. But it's a nice little hole for the next manager, isn't it? Or for Mourinho next season. But I do think that in some ways the board will be thinking, well, we've got all this money to spend next summer. There are some decent manager targets there next summer. And, you know, maybe Mourinho's figured that out himself. But I don't think it means Mourinho leaves. I just think that the club are sort of saying to him, you've got to deliver with what you've got. And if you don't deliver, we'll get someone else in. And from Mourinho's point of view, it must be a little bit soul-destroying, because he's got to try and do this without the players that he wanted. And he's also got to try and do this to rescue his reputation, because let's not forget, he was sacked by Chelsea. Does he want to be sacked by Manchester United? No, he doesn't. You don't want that on a glorious CV that he's got. So in some ways, for us fans, it's not a terrible situation. If this goes wrong for Mourinho, we'll get a new manager with a load of money in, but I don't want to be outside the top four. But if Jose grasps the opportunity and he grasps the opportunity and goes for it with what he's got, we could have an amazing season, which at this moment in time I'm hoping for. Bryce Sampson says Cantona for Director of Football. I think you've got to know something about football, and Cantona does come out with some odd stuff. Fantastic genius of a footballer on the football pitch. I'm not too sure about his scouting ability of European football as to whether he'd be a good director of football. The haters and plastics are the only ones pushing out Mourinho. They're siding with the media, says Louis _. Look, I think you've got to respect opinions, and some people have based their opinion on Jose Mourinho over the last 8 months. All I'm saying at the moment is this is a time to be positive. I think the media are going after him, and we need to keep that sort of in-house. Let's not be too publicly vocal about having a go at our manager, because you never know. Andrew Southwick says, if you see this, shout out the podcast, since I'll be on there tonight. So there is a podcast. Keep an eye out for it. I'll tweet it out off the United Stand probably tomorrow. I think it goes out at United Stand MUFC. Mourinho has to start making players better. How many have he made better in the last 2 years? Says Jagath. Paul Robinson says Cantona would be good fun though, which he would. And Scholes to be Director of Football, says Man United fan Stand. Again, absolutely love Paul Scholes, but Director of Football needs to understand the global sport. They need to be really good at, you know, understanding, like, you know, football and the world of football. And I think we should just go and appoint one of the best directors of football in the world. So whether you're looking at Atletico Madrid or whether you're looking at Juventus, you know, that's the sort of player, director of football we should go for. Not necessarily a well-known name. George Parsons says, this is the best fan channel in the UK. Keep it up. And can I have a shout out? Well, there you go, George. You've had your shout out. Remember to smash the like button, because tonight has been about you. Also, let me know your thoughts, because what I've tried to do tonight, instead of people going 5 or 10 minutes on a call, I've tried to keep everyone down to a couple of minutes, which means we get more calls, which means it's more fast paced, which I like, and hopefully you like as well. So let us know your thoughts on that below or top. And I just want to say as well, remember the link in the video description to Goldbridge Live and Uncut. Today I was talking about KSI versus Paul Weller. That's the joke on the video. KSI versus John Paul. But I also spoke about the title in the opening weekend yesterday. There's about 3 or 4 10-minute clips you can watch. It's very raw, and I am a little bit different to what I am on here, and I intend to do more videos. So get over there, link in the video description for that. Give it a subscribe, give it a watch, and leave me some comments about stuff you want me to talk about, because this is the United Stand, but on there, I'm going to talk about more general stuff. So please go and give it a watch. Please give it a subscribe. I'm trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of the week. But also, just get watching it. I'm going to put some regular content up on there. And you are the best community out there on YouTube. So I'd like some of you to come across to my channel and give me your thoughts and your critique. So thanks everyone for watching. We got Rants and Flex tomorrow night, 1 o'clock. Tomorrow lunchtime, 1 o'clock, it's the Rants and Flex show, weekly every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So I know a lot of people like that. And then me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, as per usual, will be live. So loads to get involved with. Really enjoyed the show tonight. It was absolutely fantastic. Thanks to all the callers. Thanks, apart from one. Live comments. Thanks to everybody on that. Keep supporting the channel. Keep building the United Stand Army. We've got a great community, and we're a shield to the idiots normally. But, you know, every now and again, plonkers get through. And go and give a watch on my channel, please. Link in the video description, and give me your thoughts on that. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.